Let's build something with CrewAI. I'm going to set up teams and we're going to accomplish tasks together. And this is going to be a slower paced video because I'm just going to build it all with you live. And we're going to be especially focusing on tools because I really want to extract the most amount of value from allowing agents to use tools. And I'm going to show you how to access the Edge version of CrewAI, which has a bunch of native tools installed, in addition to LangChain, which we can use, and then custom tools, which we can build ourselves. So I'm going to show you how to do that also. And we're going to be using Lightning.ai as the IDE in the cloud. So everything I'm going to do is going to be coded in the cloud, and then I'm going to share the code with you at the end of the video. And Lightning is also the sponsor of this video, so thank you to Lightning. Let's get into it. So I am literally starting from nothing. You are going to watch me install it. You're going to watch me set up all the agents line by line. So the nice thing about Lightning AI is it is a cloud environment IDE, and it's also so much more, and I'll get to that in a bit, but it's essentially VS Code completely in the cloud, and you could collaborate with other people on the code. So right now, this is from within my browser, which is really cool. And I opened up the terminal, same thing as VS Code, so everything should feel super familiar to you. I opened up the terminal right here, and let's get started. I can see we're on Python 3.10.10 right there. And if I click on it, I can select another version, but we don't need another version. So what we're gonna do is pip install CrewAI, and that's it. Let's see if it goes. Okay, downloading everything. That should be good. Okay, it's done. Awesome. I'm also going to have the CrewAI documentation open just so I can reference it whenever I need. And so now that I have CrewAI installed, that actually should be it to get started defining our agents. So I'm switching over to the documentation. I'm going to copy the code from the documentation. I'm going to switch back and I'm just going to print it all in here, and we're going to adjust it as we need. So let's delete this comment. We're going to import OS, which will allow us to handle our API key. And we're going to be using ChatGPT initially, but we may end up using a local model later. Now, the good thing about Lightning AI is it's not only a cloud IDE, but you can actually power models. You can spin up GPUs and power open source models and directly connect them to whatever application you're building. Lightning is really made for AI applications. So I switched over to create new keys in OpenAI. Let's hit create new key, and I'm going to type CrewYT2 because I already started one and I'm starting another one. Create secret key, copy. I'm going to revoke this key before publishing the video, of course. And right here on line 4, I'm going to double click and enter my API key. And I'm realizing that by habit, I'm hitting save often, and I probably don't need to do that with Lightning because it saves automatically as I'm going. So I'm going to right click on main.py right over here, and I'm going to go down to rename, and I'm going to call it crew.py. Okay, and I realize I already made a mistake because if we just do pip install CrewAI, it's going to install the latest stable release. But what we want to do is actually hit equals and then insert 0.14.0 RC. So what we're going to do first is pip uninstall CrewAI. And so now you can see I make mistakes all the time. And then we're going to do pip install CrewAI equals, and then 0.14.0 RC. And then we hit enter. Okay, so it's installing the newest version. And I got a list of the tools and they're not documented yet, but I'm going to show you what they are and I'll add them as a comment in this file right here once this is done. Okay, it's done. Okay, so before we continue, I'm just going to add a comment right here. These are the tools that we will soon have access to in the main version, but in the release client, we can access them right now. So comment those out. So we have code doc search tool, CSV search tool, directory search tool. We have a TXT search tool, JSON, all the way down. We have website search tool, YouTube video search tool. So we have a lot of different tools that we're going to be using. Now, I think the first crew I want to create is something that I need personally. And a lot of you ask, hey, AI agents are great, but what is the real world use case for them? And so that's what I'm going to show you today. I collect links for AI news all throughout the week, and I'm starting to put out a newsletter more frequently than I have in the past. So first, be sure to sign up for my newsletter. The link is in the description below. But what I want to do is create a crew that I can drop a bunch of links into. They go check out what each of the articles are about and then just write a short summary of each one. And that'll just save me a bunch of time when I'm creating the newsletter myself. So here's an example of how to use a tool from LangChain. So from LangChain community.tools, import DuckDuckGo search run, and we just set it as a search tool, but we're not going to need that. So let's go ahead and delete that there. And I'm going to give us a little bit more room in the code editor. So the first agent being created is the researcher agent, and I'm going to be changing that. So we're going to call it the scraper agent, and the role is to, actually, I'm going to change that to the summarizer agent, and the role will be summarizer of websites. Goal, let's set that to, let's see, what should we set that to? That'll be go to a given website, scrape the content, and provide a summary of the article on the website. Okay. Backstory. Let's give it a little bit of backstory. You work at a leading tech think tank. That's fine. Your expertise lies in identifying emerging trends. That's fine. You have a knack for dissecting complex data and presenting actionable insights. So I don't need that. And we're going to say you have a knack for taking complex topics, AI topics, and explaining them clearly and succinctly with a bit of wit. Okay. We're going to keep verbose true because we want to see all the output, and I don't want this summarizer agent to delegate anything. And that's something really nice with CrewAI is you can allow for delegation really easily. Now for the tool, it says search tool, so we do need to change that. I'm going to delete all these comments. And by default, it will use GPT-4. So for the search tool, rather than that, we're actually going to use the website search tool. And I think the website search tool goes and scrapes a website, but we'll see. Again, I'm doing this for the first time. We'll do it together. All right, next we have the writer agent, and that is good. And the role is a tech content summarizer and writer. Goal, craft compelling content on AI advancements. And we're going to actually say craft compelling short form content on AI advancements. Backstory, you are a renowned content creator known for your insightful and engaging articles. You transform complex concepts into compelling narratives. That sounds good. Verbose, true. Allow delegation, true. We do not want this agent to delegate. Actually, maybe we do, because the writer is going to delegate the scraping to the summarizer. I think that's how it could work. So let's leave delegation on. Now we have two tasks. Let's see what they are. Task 1, conduct a comprehensive analysis of the latest advancements in AI in 2024. Okay, so we're going to change this. We're going to say, for task 1, take a list of websites that contain AI content, read/scrape the content, and then provide a short summary, a short and interesting slash compelling summary of the content found on the website. Okay. And we're going to give this to the writer. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the first task needs to be going and getting the content. So let's do that first. So I'm going to say the summarizer is actually going to be a scraper agent. So that's their only job, is to go get the content. So let's change this a little bit. Scrape the content and provide the full content to the writer agent, so it can then be summarized. And rather than this backstory, I'll leave leading think tank, but we're going to change this to be your expertise is taking URLs and getting just the text-based content of them. Okay. Then for the writer, craft compelling short form content on AI advancements based on long form text passed to you. Okay. So task 1, take the list of websites that contain AI content, read, scrape the content, and then provide. So we're going to change this. And then, so read, scrape the content, and then pass it to the writer agent. So this is going to be the scraper. And then we have the writer. Using the text provided by the scraper agent, develop an engaging blog post. So I'm going to change this now. Develop a short and compelling slash interesting short form summary of the text provided to you about AI. Let's see what happens. We're probably going to have to iterate on this a few times. So we have task 1, task 2. We create a crew right here. We're going to have 2 agents in the crew. We're going to have the scraper agent and the writer agent. We have task 1, task 2, and verbose equals 2. You can set it to either 1 or 2 to different logging levels. And we're going to leave it as 2. So then we get the result, and we go ahead and print the result. Okay. So one thing we're going to have to do is figure out a way to pass in the list of articles. So let's see if we could do that right here. Ask the user for a list of URLs. Then go to each given website, scrape the content, and provide the full content to the writer agent so it can be summarized. So let's see if this works. We might need to actually pass the URLs directly in here. But let's see. All right, let's play it and see what happens. So I'm going to clear everything in there. Let's hit play and let's watch it work. Okay, name error, website tool is not defined. Right. Okay, so we still need to actually define it up here to be able to use it. So I think this is going to be how we do it. So from CrewAI tools, and we don't actually have that. So let's add that here. Now this is not documented at all, so it's a little bit difficult to figure out, but we'll try. CrewAI tools. Let's see if we just hover over it. Do we get any information? Okay, I don't think this is right. CrewAI tools, maybe? Okay, let's try that. Then from CrewAI tools, we're going to import the website search tool. just like that. And we're going to set it to website. Let's see. What do we call it down there? Website search tool. Let's look at another example of how it's done real quick. So right here, search tool. Okay. So we can name it anything we want. Website search tool equals. Okay, so let's do this a little different. What we need to do is put this on a separate line. So we're importing the library first, then we set it like this, just like that. I'm going to copy this, make sure that it matches the tool down here. So it's actually using uppercase. So let's just change that, just like that. Okay, we're going to save. There seems to be an error. So I think we can maybe delete the parentheses off of that, and that might work. Let's see. Play. Okay, import error. Cannot import name CrewAI tools from CrewAI. Maybe we don't need to have CrewAI tools up there. Feels like we do, but maybe not. Let's see. Okay, all right, great, that worked. So this is how it's done. So CrewAI tools is already going to be built in, and we just say from CrewAI tools import and then the tool that we want. Now let's see what we got. Okay, starting task, entering new crew executor. Sure, could you please provide me with a list of URLs you want to scrape? Error, I didn't use the right format. I must either use a tool, use one at a time, or give my best final answer. Okay, so we did not do this right. I'm going to stop it. And it's nice because all the same keyboard keys work with Lightning AI that you're familiar with VS Code. So I'm going to look at some of the examples. So let's look at the stock analysis right there. So we have tools just like that. That's good. Okay, that's how we have it. Backstory, best financial analysis. Okay. Now let's look at the actual code. So here's the code for the agents. Okay, so all the agents are defined in one file. That's cool. We could do that. And then we have the actual tasks. So the financial analysis takes self and agent. But where does it actually define the stock that we want to analyze? Let's look. Okay, let's look at main.py. Maybe we're passing it in there. Okay, I see what's being done here. So in the Python script itself, the first thing we're doing manually is asking for the input. We save it as company, and then we pass it into financial crew, and then the crew does the rest. So that's what we're going to need to set up. So I'm not sure how to do that, but we'll figure it out together. Okay, so I'm going to first copy this code. Let's just take that, and we know we're going to need something like this, so we'll put it in here. And it's probably going to replace something around here. So I'm going to leave everything in one file for now, just to simplify things. Let's paste that code in. So instead of this, so this is the main part of the Python code we're going to be running. So I'm going to actually change this back to main.py. And then we're going to say, welcome to newsletter writer. Okay. And then we're going to say websites. What is the company you want to analyze? We'll see what is the URL you want to summarize. And then financial crew, we're going to call it newsletter crew. Newsletter crew. Okay, so let's call this newsletter, newsletter crew. Okay. That might work. Let's just make sure all the capitalization is correct. And then we want to do newsletter crew.run. Here is the result. Okay. So I'm wondering why the newsletter crew up here has .run and this one has .kickoff. So let's double check. Okay, so let's look at the tasks. Here we go. So stock analysis tasks. And I really like how he keeps all of his code really modular. So I might copy that, but for now, let's try to do it without that. Okay, let's look at the agents. Okay, I'm going to go back to main.py, and I'm just trying to figure out how he set all this up so I can essentially mimic the same thing that he did. Okay, so he does have crew right here, and this whole thing, okay, I see. So the whole thing is wrapped with this class, so I think that's what we're going to have to do. So I'm going to copy all of this. And actually, I'm just going to copy the top part. I think that's all we're going to need. And then we instantiate our agents right there and tasks, but we're going to define them in the file itself. So I'm going to hit copy. And then at the very top, let's add in the class. We're not going to define our agents and tasks like this. We do need to indent this so they fall under run because that is how he did it. And let me just make sure about the, yeah, this is also indented. Okay. So let's go back to Lightning. And we do need to indent everything under this new class that we just created. Go ahead and indent it. And now we have scraper. Okay, we need to indent one more time. Everything should be within run, I believe. Let me just double check. Def run. Okay, right. So this is actually outside of the class when we actually have to run it. So let's make sure to do that. So this is a top level piece of code. And that should be good. Now up here, we're going to change this to be newsletter crew. And we don't want company, but we want URLs. URLs. I'm going to change this to be URLs. And somehow we have to pass those URLs into the actual agents. So let's see how we're going to do that. Okay, self-init company right here. So let's keep this as URLs. Need that. Got it. Okay, so now at the bottom, right here, newsletter crew, not company, but URLs. Okay, so now it gets passed in URLs, and let's make sure that the agents within this crew have access to those URLs. So let's see how they defined it in here. So we're going to switch over to stock analysis agents, the definition, because this is where they would be passing in the URLs, I believe, or the company in this case. Okay, but it doesn't seem to be doing it here. Let's see, maybe it's passing it into the task. Yeah, company, okay. And then that's how we do it. Okay, so we're going to have to insert it just like that. Selected company by the customer. So let's do that. So if we add 2 new lines right here, and then we say something like, here are the URLs from the user that you need to scrape, and then we say open curly braces and then URLs. Hopefully this works. Let's see. Okay, so this should be done. And I'm going to go ahead and clear the output in there, and then let's push play. Okay, dedent is not defined. All right, because I didn't define it anywhere. Dedent, let's see where we actually have that. Dedent. Okay, let's see. Dedent must be right there. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna find that from text wrap. Let's go ahead and import that into our code. Okay, then let's run it again. All right, there we go. So it asked me for a URL. That is perfect. What is the URL you want to summarize? Now, I want to be able to pass multiple in, but for this first iteration, I'm just going to give it 1. So I found this article, AI Startup Runway is raising a venture capital fund, and this was from a couple weeks ago, so that is what I'm going to start with. Let's switch back to the code, the URL I want to summarize. Paste it in, hit enter. Okay, name crew is not defined. Did you mean crew? Maybe, let's find out. So lowercase crew as compared to uppercase crew. Crew is not defined. Let's find that lowercase crew. Here we go. Right there. So maybe I did mean uppercase, but that, oh, right. We don't actually need to do that. We need to actually say newsletter crew. And I think that is what is wrong. So let's try it again. Push play. It's going to ask me for that URL again. Let's get it again. Paste it. Hit enter. Okay. Type attribute or attribute error, type object, newsletter crew has no attribute kickoff. Interesting. Let's find out what we're doing wrong here. We don't need to do that here. Okay, so the newsletter crew is actually run from right here. So I have duplicate code. So let's get rid of that. But I'm not quite sure if this is going to work still, because I feel like it should have hit this first, but maybe it only does that after loading all the other code. And I'm exposing my lack of experience with Python here. So glad I'm doing this. You guys should know I've only been doing Python for about a year now. All right, let's give it another try. Probably going to have another error. Let's find out. Okay, what is the URL we want to summarize? Let's grab it. Whoops. Let's paste it in here. Hit enter. None. Here's the result, none. Okay. So no errors, but it definitely did not work. Here is the result. So what are we doing wrong? Newsletter crew dot run. We have the newsletter crew right here, run. Then we have the agents that get defined, the tasks, the new, oh, we don't actually kick it off here. That's the problem. Okay. So let's copy that, and we want to do dot kickoff. I think maybe this will work. Let's see. Hit play. We're going to need that article again. Switch back. URL you want to summarize. Hit play. All right. I think that worked. Except, is it actually inserting? I am unable to surf the internet or access URLs directly. However, the tools I'm provided with do not allow me to directly scrape data from websites. Well, that's not helpful. Okay. Yeah, it's telling me it can't access the website, but that is not true. Here is the result, none. So why is it telling me that? So all the code looks to be correct right now, but I think what we're going to have to do is give it a little nudge to actually be able to go and scrape the website, and GPT-4 thinks it can't, but you need to use the tool I gave you. So here's the website search tool, which might not actually be what we think it is, but let's find out. And so rather than saying, then go to each given website, what we're going to say is, then use the website search tool to then scrape the content. Let's see if that helps us. Let's hit play. Okay, I'm sorry for the misunderstanding. I'm sorry for the confusion, but I need the URLs to be able to continue with the task. Okay, so something I'm doing, it is not passing the URLs in correctly. So not everybody gets to ping the founder and be like, hey, can you help me? Appreciate you helping out. Joe is the founder of CrewAI, so very happy for a little bit of help from him. I am currently, let me actually share my screen. So I'm in the middle of the video. I'm doing a let's build. So it's a very like kind of slow paced video going through each step. All the errors are all going to be seen by the audience. I'm using lightning.ai as the cloud IDE. And I set up a crew. And what I want them to do is I want to be able to pass a set of URLs. One of the agents is a scraper agent. That agent is going to go scrape the websites and bring the content to the writer agent. The writer agent is then going to write a brief summary of each of the URLs that I pass to it. Now, the first problem is before I had this, use the website search tool, GPT-4 says, I can't scrape website content. And then I explicitly told it, go ahead, use the website search tool. Now it works. However, where I'm a little bit stuck is, and by the way, I'm using your web stock analysis tool as kind of a reference. So I'm trying to pass in the URLs here, but apparently it is not getting passed in properly. The URLs do get passed in, I believe, right here. So I have them available, but I'm not great at Python, and I'm probably doing something wrong, but it told me, if we look down here, I'm unable to proceed with the task without the URLs. Could you please provide the URLs? So that is the issue right here.
Got it. Got it. All right. So basically what is interpolate the URLs into that task there. Where do you have those where there's URLs coming from?
So very similar to how you did it, I'm using ddent to ask a question immediately. What is the URL you want to summarize? So I'm starting with just one, but I'm going to assume I want to kind of plug in a bunch eventually. I just want to get this to work, but they're coming right here.
All right, got it. And then you create this newsletter crews and you pass the URLs for it. All right, let me look at the class newsletter crew up there. Newsletter crew. All right, it takes the URL. All right, so the only thing that I can see that you're not referencing is instead of having just URLs as you have in there, and you want to do self.urls in the task.
Just like that.
And then you put an F before the string starts. Right after the description equals.
And that will add interpolation to it.
Exactly. So that'll allow you to interpolate that string, and then you reference the instance variable URLs that you declare upstairs.
Okay, very cool. All right, let's give this a try. I mean, I know this is very basic stuff, by the way, but I was excited to show you this crew, and I'm probably going to create a second crew for a completely different use case after this, but we'll see. So, okay, I'm going to grab a URL. And by the way, I assumed website search tool is a website search or a website scraper. Is that correct?
It's actually a reg searching tool on top of the website. So it's going to actually search for something in that website and return specific paragraphs that are kind of like relevant to that.
So maybe this isn't the best tool to be using for scraping.
Yes, if you want to do actual scraping, I don't think we have a tool for that yet, but I can get one up pretty quickly.
Do you think, or do you know of if LangChain has any website scraping tools? I'm sure it
Mm,
does. Otherwise, I'll just have to write it myself, which is fine.
yeah, I'm not sure if it does. I can look it up. In the past, what I have done is I basically did my own using unstructured, like this library from this library that basically cleans up HTML. So that's what I have done in the past, and I probably have it like in some example somewhere. I can grab it and send it over to you.
Sure, I mean that'd be helpful. I'll try to use ChatGPT to help me write a scraping tool, and we'll see if it works. But yeah, I think that would be a good time to just create a tool for like a custom tool for this agent team to use. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate the help. I am gonna get back to building this crew, and hopefully I can make it work by the end of this video.
Have a good one.
Bye. Okay, so I just got off a call with the founder of CrewAI, and he explained a few things I was doing wrong. So first, right here, we actually have to reference self.urls to interpolate properly, and we have to add the F at the beginning of the string so that it knows we are trying to interpolate. Now, back at the top, one thing he mentioned is this website search tool is not actually what I thought it was. So what this does is it will use RAG. It will grab all the content from a website, and then you can actually search through the content of that website using RAG. So really cool tool, but not what we need. What we need to do is have a website scraper. So we're going to have to create a custom tool just for that. Let's do that now. So we're going to go ahead, might as well just delete this. I am going to remove all of these tools, comment it out for now, because we're not going to need them. And let's go see how to create a custom tool. So in his stock analysis example, we have this tools folder. And if we open it up, we have calculator tools, browser tools. So I think we're going to have to do something like this. So I'm going to copy this. It's not going to be a LangChain tool, so we're going to have to create it from scratch, but let's do that. Let's switch back. I am going to create a new folder called tools. Then I'm going to create a new file within that folder called scraper.py. And I'm going to paste that code in, and let's just call this scraper tools. Let me just make sure it all, yep, so that's how he did it. So scraper, actually, if we go back, it's actually called calculator tools. Right, so let's make it match the class name. So rename scraper underscore tools. Okay, so at tool, scrape website content, text only. Okay, and then we'll put a nice little comment at the top, useful to scrape content of a website. And we probably don't need the triple quotes, but we'll leave them there anyways. And then return eval operation. That is not what we need to do. So what we need to do, we'll say return text. And rather than calculate, let's call it def scrape. And this will be URL. Okay, so now I'm going to switch over to ChatGPT. And I'm going to ask it to help me create a scraping tool. So write a website scraping tool using Python. So it looks like it's going to be using requests and beautiful soup. So I'm going to have to install that. So let's do that first. So down here, let's close this thread. Then I'm going to say pip install requests and beautiful soup 4. And already satisfied. So that's good. It's already there. Then we're going to copy this code, switch back to our tool. Let's paste it right here. And what we're going to have to do is at the top, we'll add our imports. The URL we should actually get from the URL. So we're going to instantiate it with a URL. I think that's the best way to do it. It says scrape titles, but that's not what we need. Right. We don't want it to scrape the titles. So let's actually ask it for a slightly different code. Please make the code scrape all text content from the website. Ooh, it's bugging out a little bit. Wow, it is wacky right now. Okay, this is barely working. It seems to be outputting, but for some reason the scroll bar is jumping around. Okay, so it looks like it fixed itself. So now here, scrape all text, getting the URL, parsing, removing the elements. Okay, so I'm going to copy this code. Let's go back to Lightning. And I'm going to replace all that. Okay, so we don't need to import these again. Okay, so I'm going to take all of that right there, all of the main code, and let's put it into here. We'll delete this at the end, and we're going to return text, which seems correct, but it is not. So instead of printing right there, we're going to just return combined text. Now, we may have an issue that it's including a lot of text that is not necessarily relevant to summarizing the article, but let's find out. Now, I'm actually not sure if this is the proper way to pass in this variable. So I'm going to double check with how he's doing it. So it is not. So let's delete that. I don't think we need this. Okay. And then that should be good. I think that should work. And so we're going to copy this, switch back to main.py, and let's just see how he imports it. So tools dot, there we go. Okay, so that's how he does it. So what we're going to do is actually we'll put that at the top, from tools dot scraper tools. Then how did he do it? Import scraper tools. Okay. Hopefully that works. Now we need to instantiate scraper tools. Scraper tools is equal to scraper tools. Maybe that'll work. And then right here, I'm going to input scraper tools. So let's actually capitalize that like that. Okay. Maybe this will work. Let's find out together. So hit play. All right. Name tool is not defined. Did you mean bool? Where is tool? At tool, scrape website content text only. So there's something wrong with, I see. So it is the fact that we're doing this at tool, which is not relevant unless we're using LangChain. So let's go ahead and delete that because we don't need that. And now that that is fixed, let's try it again. Okay, what is the URL of the website you want to summarize? Let's grab that URL, paste it in, hit enter. All right, key error tools. So we still have an issue. So this is on agent.py. Nope, not there. Main.py line 16. Scraper. Main.py line 66. Okay, no, so it's keyword, key error tools. So I think it's this that's causing the error. So one really cool thing is I just put this session live and I'm giving it to somebody to help me out. That is a really awesome feature of Lightning. And look at that. Now he's in here taking a look at the code in real time. This is cool. I think I like cloud editing much more than local editing now. So maybe I should think about doing live coding sessions going forward. Maybe I'll put it live on YouTube and actually do it live through lightning.ai. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so we can see the changes he's making in real time. Okay, so I changed a few things. So we are going to use LangChain tools import tool as the way to actually define the tool. Then we can use @tool right there. And everything else is pretty much the same. Now, one problem I'm running into is that the website I want to scrape is actually just blocking the request. So I'm going to tell ChatGPT this, and let's see if it can give me another method to scrape the website. Okay, so everything works, and then it says failed to retrieve the web page. So I'm going to copy that, put it in here, and I'm going to say, is there a better way to retrieve the website content? Use headers to mimic a browser. That's what we need to do. Okay, so let's copy that code. So let's make it look like we are an actual browser. That's the problem. So right before this, we're going to enter the code we just got. Now we already have this stuff, so let's get rid of that. We don't need the URL because we're going to be passing that in. And we will need the headers. So let's put that there. Okay, and scrape all text, so we don't need to define it again. Response equals, so we're going to be passing in the headers this time, and then everything else should be the same as we have it before. Okay, I think this may work now. Let's give it a try. So I'm going to clear all the output in the terminal. Let's play it. What is the URL you want to summarize? Okay. Failed to retrieve the web page again. Darn it. Okay, let's see if it'll work on the CrewAI website. Maybe it is that simple. Maybe it's just continuing to block my request because it thinks I'm a scraper, which I am. But that is besides the point. What is the URL you want to summarize? CrewAI.com. Okay, invalid URL, CrewAI.com, CrewAI.com. Perhaps you meant, okay, so we should definitely fix that, but that's okay. Let's give it the full URL now. Okay, so it should be out scraping. There we go. Perfect. So it is working properly. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. So now we know it's working properly. So the problem is this website is still blocking our attempt to scrape it. So back to ChatGPT, still getting failed to retrieve website. Is there another way to scrape the website? Libraries like fake user agent can help generate random, realistic user agent strings for each request. All right, let's see if that works. Third-party tools and services, using API endpoints instead of scraping. Okay, sample scrapey with splash code snippet. This is getting complex, more complex than I was hoping. Let me try actually a different URL. I just want to get this to work at this point. All right, here's another article by a website, payments.com. Report OpenAI surpasses $2 billion in annualized revenue. Back to Lightning AI. Let's try it again, but this time we're going to use that website, and hopefully they don't have as sophisticated of scraping blockers. Boom. Let's see. I think it's working. Yep. Oh, it worked, but then we have an error. Let's see what it is. Please reduce the length of messages. Ah, so now we're getting an OpenAI issue. This model's maximum context length is 8,000 tokens. Okay. Yeah, we're passing a lot in there. A ton, actually. Okay, so let me see. Maybe there's a way to identify the actual content of the article. Ah, yes, because this is the home page. Okay, so it's just a scrolling list. So maybe there's a way to get the direct text. Okay, I'm going to ask ChatGPT. So I've gone back to the previous scraping method on another website which works. How do I make sure to only grab the topmost article text and nothing else? Okay, so you need to first identify how the website's HTML structure distinguishes the top article from the others. They use specific tags. So here's an example. Right-clicking and hit inspect. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's try that. So we'll look for this right here. We're going to right-click. We're going to hit inspect, and we're going to look for some kind of tag that it might be. Let's see. Post feed text. All right, insert article. That'll get rid of some stuff. Okay, so it looks like it uses ID equals insert article. Let's only target text within that. Ah, and I actually typed it wrong. It's insert uppercase article. I really wish I had a bigger context window right about now. Okay, so I'm going to copy, go back to the code, scraper tools, and let's see what the difference is. So here we go. Article, this is going to be the difference right there. And I'm going to just grab this whole amount of code right there, switch back. Okay, so text elements find all. Article equals soup.find. So I'm going to delete this. We're not going to find all anymore. And we're going to say insert article. Now this is just going to work for this website, obviously. So I'm going to need to mess around with the scraper tool to make it more generally applicable. But for now, I just want to get it to work. So I'm going to say text is equal to, and then it's going to do that. Then I'm going to delete this other part right here. Then I'm going to delete text right there. Okay, we'll return text, and we're going to join. We don't really need that, actually. Let's just see what happens just like that. All right, let's play it one more time. I'm hoping this works. What is the URL of the article you want to summarize? Grab it. Okay, it should be. There we go. We got it. Perfect. All right, final answer. Perfect. So it grabbed the text. Now, finish chain. And it gave us a very brief summary. That's good. Here we go. Summarizer of websites, entering the crew. Delegate work to coworker. Now, hopefully, it's going to give us an even briefer summary, a rewrite of it. Ah, failed to retrieve web page. I already use the scraper tool with input, blah, blah, blah. So I already know that, and I must stop using it with that same input. Perfect. Final answer. All right, this is exactly what I needed. Finished chain. Hopefully it just ends now. All right, here is the result. And the result is empty, but it's right there. Awesome. And this is not the text from the article as far as I know. And so there we go. We got a summary of that article. Now, I'm going to end it here because this is already a very long video. But in my next video, I think I want to make this much more robust because I think it has the potential to be much more robust. Now, this was made very easy with Lightning AI because I did everything in the cloud. I had someone help me live right in front of my eyes in the cloud, which was super awesome. And not only that, I've only scratched the surface of what's possible with Lightning AI, because you can load models, you can fine tune models, you can actually run models in the cloud powering your agents. And all of this is done through Lightning AI. So thank you so much to the sponsor of this video, Lightning AI. Check them out. I'll drop a link in the description below where you can find out more and get set up with them. I highly recommend it. You saw it in action. It's awesome. If you liked this video, please consider giving a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.